Hello, good evening, and welcome back. To apologise about the heavy rain, but we're experiencing Storm Bella. Speaking of storms, coronavirus cases of new variant appear worldwide. So yes, here we go again, just like we did last time. Except perhaps there might be a slight difference because, of course, the original COVID-19 strain came out of China, and yet this new variant, depending on who you're looking at, is either South African of origin or from Kent in the United Kingdom. But there are thoughts that the only reason we found it in the UK first is because of our massive surveillance state that exists within the United Kingdom, and of course then this is being propped up as a positive. Isn't it good that we know everything that's going on in all of your lives all of the time? Because then if a new strain of a virus pops up, we'll know about it straight away. And if you're feeling charitable, you might say, okay, sure. So what's been done about this? Does this mean you've been able to contain it so that it hasn't spread around? At the very least, you've been able to keep it within your borders and it hasn't gone worldwide? No, not at all. So even if you're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt and any credit that you can, it still fails. So again, there's no point for such an extensive surveillance state. As we see here, cases of the more contagious variant of COVID-19 first identified in the UK have been confirmed in several European countries as well as Canada and Japan. And probably China as well, but of course they would not wish to mention it. Infections linked to people who arrived from the UK were reported in Spain, Switzerland, Sweden and France. A couple found infected in Ontario, Canada, had no known travel history or high-risk contacts, officials say, bringing the total up to 7 of the new strain, 5 of which who had travelled, 2 of which whom have not. And the issue with this is, of course, the incubation period, and this is something Stefan Molyneux mentioned with the initial COVID-19 a while ago, seeing as it can be there for a month. Yeah, and first couple of weeks you got no idea that it's there. So if that's the incubation period and you are spreading it to other people, then you're already fucked. It is already too late. Brilliant, you're keeping tags on things, but at that point, yeah, you got to get in touch with everybody who was on those flights and everybody that they have so far has walked past since then, which means everybody in the entire airport as well, and everybody that everybody in the airport has interacted with even slightly since they've landed, and you have to quarantine all of them immediately. Unless they've interacted with other people, in which case you have to quarantine all of them as well. And you see how it gets out of hand incredibly quickly. So what good is this really doing? Fear-mongering. That's it. That really is all there is to it. It doesn't seem to be any sensible rhyme or reason whatsoever. It's just to try and make things sound terrible. So that, what's going to come on the back of this? Well, don't you know? Meanwhile, several European Union countries have started to vaccinate people against the virus ahead of a coordinated rollout across the whole bloc on Sunday. Funny that. Health workers in northeast Germany said they were not prepared to wait another day to distribute the newly approved Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. Were the recipients willing to wait another day? I guess that doesn't matter. They began by immunising elderly residents of a nursing home in Halberstadt. In Hungary, the state news agency said the first recipient of the vaccine was a doctor at Delpest Central Hospital. The authorities in Slovakia also said they had begun vaccinating. The head of the EU, Ursula von der Leyen, has released a video on Twitter celebrating the vaccine rollout, calling it a touching moment of unity. Bit too touching if you ask me. And as they say, scientists say the new variant COVID-19 may have been spotted in the UK first because of the strength of the country's surveillance system. Not doing us any good though, is it? The new variant is considerably more transmissible than the previous strains, most likely, but not necessarily any more dangerous for those infected, experts say. So it's not really an issue, except of course for the people at high risk, and therefore you're then overwhelming the National Health Services and their respective counterparts in other countries. And therefore, everybody has to suffer. That is the policy in a nutshell. So, as I say, they've got the infections in Canada and Japan. The 2 new cases are a pilot in his 30s who returned to Japan from London on the 16th of December. Makes a lot of sense. And a woman in her 20s who was one of his family members who had no history of visiting the country. Guess she got it from him then. In which case, again, how much transmission has there been with them going out and about? Who have they interacted with? Can you contact every single one of these people? Even if they just walk past each other in the street? if it is really that infectious? No, of course you can't. So what are you really going to do with that information? People are always going to be slipping through the net. And if you're trying to flatten the curve, isn't it a bit late for that? Don't you see the other damage done? Or is it always going to be, oh, just hold out a little bit longer, we're right there. Because now we've got a vaccine, so it's okay, just hold on a bit longer while we get it all rolled out. And then, oh no, there's a new type, and this vaccine isn't effective. Just hold on a little while longer until we get this new vaccine. Rinse and repeat. That's the way I see it going, in a very cynical manner. I don't expect much better from them. And Japan's decided to go the same way as England, saying that they've got travel suspensions, but some travellers, such as business people, will be allowed to enter from a small number of mainly Asian countries. So yes, again, just the big spenders. However, it is nice to see that perhaps, if there's a white pill, if I may, that the idea of this global virus seems to have at least suspended globalism, and people have gone back to their nation states and enforcing their borders. So, if there is a silver lining, perhaps it is that the nation states will be enforced, as will the borders, and we will be able to get back our sovereignty for each individual countries again. Possibly. That is the one silver lining I can kind of look at from this. The other one, if you wish to be overly optimistic, is on the back of Jeffrey Epstein's murder, that people are more concerned about what the government is doing in its shady practices and isn't going to believe as much as quickly anymore. And it might still need a bit more persuasion when it comes to the coup, and of course that's why so much censorship is being rolled out in order to try and stop this enlightenment. But nonetheless, if you're optimistic, then the tide is slowly turning for the pool of public opinion, and there may be hope yet that we can come to a more peaceful resolution. But that's it for me. So as always, let me know what you guys think down below. Always intrigued to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, until next time, have a good one.